And it's recording. So we are on. Hi, everybody. How to flip this. I don't know how to do it. Hi. That's two of us.
All right, hey.
I'm like freaking out because I've led some Zoom, but not like in a lot of depth.
Yeah.
Is there any way to, so just bear with me. Is there any way to flip it? Do you know?
Flip what?
The computer?
What do you mean flip the computer?
I'm gonna just flip it. That's what I'm gonna do. So we're just setting up, Beverly. I don't know how many people are gonna come.
Okay. Well, on your thing it said 5:30, so it's still early.
Yeah, and then I tried to, kind of like in hindsight, was telling people, to come into the waiting room a little early.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm late. So
Well, on your invitation it said 5:15, so I said, "Oh shit, I'm late."
no, you're actually way early. And like I said,
I guess I can have a
huh?
I can have a private concert, right?
Yeah. There's the drum kit right there.
Cool.
He's written some songs.
Uh-huh.
Konnichiwa, konbanwa.
Hi.
How you doing, kid?
I'm doing.
Good to see
How
you.
you doing? Yeah. Well, thank you for supporting me in my efforts.
Heck yeah, you rock.
Well, I didn't know you were into music until I got your the different invites and all, and it's just like, wow,
Yeah.
all this.
Well, I also play taiko drums.
I saw we saw some pictures of you.
Yeah.
Like from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Way cool. See, she's a drummer too.
Yes.
And hey, Candace.
Kandace.
Oh, you look beautiful.
Buonasera, Kandace.
Buonasera.
I'm gonna set up some more.
Okay, no problem. We'll just hang.
Yep. Not like we've never done this before.
Right. Looks like it's already recording.
Yes. This is gonna be fun with this iPad. Okay.
Other than that, you don't have
I know you still don't. Well, it's 5:29, so.
Well, you might have some people joining you on YouTube and Facebook too. So.
Yeah. I mean, part of the idea is that they get together, but also to promote, and try to get people to know about my business. So I've been trying to get it out there, and I'm finding that when I do it live on Facebook, people see that it's live, so it'll kind of draw. So here's hoping.
Yeah. That's why it's hard when you have it, screening on 3 different platforms, because you can't really monitor everything.
That's what I'm gonna learn tonight.
But I personally liked on Zoom better, because then you can at least see who's there,
Right. Part of my idea with bringing in the Facebook is I'm sure there's some people that feel uncomfortable with sharing and participating and maybe new to the whole technology. So to kind of see how people are doing it, because somebody had just said recently, like they had never done a Zoom meeting before. And
yeah.
Doing it this week.
Yeah, because my first one, I couldn't even figure out how to turn on the camera.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that that's part of it, and letting people kind of desensitize the whole process of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and at least get the Facebook feed on.
No problem. Just take care of business.
Okay, Kevin. Actually, probably needs to be charged. Yeah, we're almost there. By the way, I think I've come up with the idea for Sunday. I'm excited about meditation and otherwise people are going to be looking into our bathroom. Spencer! Hey, Eric. Hey, Kristen.
Hello.
Welcome. So we're still getting ready.
I'm gonna put on some headphones. That way.
I don't have audio.
Here you go. I hear you. Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I'm guessing it's a preferences thing. Built in. Zoom us.
Yes.
Now I do.
So we're just still setting up. I'm assuming there'll be a few more people joining us.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if that's you, Spencer. Hi, Eric.
There we go. That's better.
Rico.
What's up, you hairy beast?
So Beverly, Candace, and Kristen, these are the other two parts of the Vanderveer break.
Yay.
Well, okay, that's Spencer's couch, but he'll come back.
Shortly.
These people have been praying for you guys, by the way.
Well, thank you.
So the
I-
good guys,
I didn't think I was doing that badly, but thank you.
you're doing that well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We had a leftover bottle of champagne, so I hope that that's not bad.
There's so much like light in this image.
I don't know why this is always so red. I don't know, my light bulb, because Spencer's just fine.
Yeah, it's yellow. It's yellow.
On this end, it looks really, really yellow.
Yeah, I'm bad at colors.
I'm gonna go ahead and. Hi, everybody. Facebook is on. We have Zoom on. We're still setting up. If you want to join
Oh,
us.
it's just the light bulb.
Yeah.
So how are you all doing this holiday season?
Oh, we're here. Ready to go.
Healthy and well?
So
Awesome.
Eric, what part do you play in the band?
I play guitar.
Great.
Yeah.
You
6
guys-
string.
Are you all sing?
Yes.
Yeah, we all trade off. Yeah.
Alerts on now.
Great. Looking forward to hearing you.
Yeah, we are definitely looking forward to getting back out and performing ourselves. Hello. Oh, are we being recorded? Ooh,
Yes.
I better have my best face on. All right.
As opposed to,
Yeah, I sometimes I can make some funny faces is all, so.
I think we could stand for some silliness. The sky is dark enough now. Okay. A little bit longer.
So where are we all tuning in from?
California.
I'm from Los Angeles. Parks.
Oh, hi, Nina.
Hey,
Nina.
Ken. Hey, Kirsten. Hey, Beverly. Nice to meet you, and Eric.
Pasadena.
So Nina, I want to introduce Eric and Spencer. They're the other two parts of the Vanderveer Breaks. And
Nice.
Eric, so you guys know, I think everybody so far, other than you two, are actually people I've known and have worked with for a number of years, or associates thereof. And we get together every Sunday night and do prayers and healing work. So they're important, like you guys are.
That's awesome. They're the support system, huh?
Heck yeah.
So
Raise the roof.
go ahead and get going. We do have this recording.
And
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say you and Kevin were always our support system in terms of meals.
Yeah.
We're always getting free food from these two, so.
Yes.
Not for me.
I'm sure you played some part in it.
Kevin was in the military for 22 years and he was in the mess deck. So he definitely knows how to cook.
He knows how to make a mess.
Well, I think we should probably get going. So we've got two different live feeds going on. Kevin, fortunately, I need this. No, this. Okay. Organization. I have a master's degree in organizational management. I still need more organization. So anyway, welcome everybody. Facebook, Zoom. This is our 2020 online speakeasy holiday event. We're living in new times. So we've got the Facebook and the Zoom going. We've got a Christmas tree, so it's kind of like the old and the new. And hopefully we'll make this happen. Because it's my intent for us all to be touched by the spirit of Christmas. How's that? And what's especially special about today is what's going on in the stars, in the sky. There's a lot in the news right now talking about the Christmas star. Is there something to that? And we're broadcasting live from Flagstaff, Arizona. And so what I'd like to do, if I can pull this off, is we're going to go outside, probably with an iPad on Facebook, and actually just look up in the sky and see if we can see the stars. We've been watching it. It's just about dusk now, but in the last couple of minutes, we couldn't even see this manifestation in the sky yet. but I do want to broadcast it so that it'll be at least on one of these two recordings. There is going to be I'm going to ask for some sharing as part of this. Please know that this is a public forum. And, you know, I think we're in a time where accountability and responsibility it's always important, but we offer this to you guys. If you participate, please take responsibility to know that you're being filmed, that this will be recorded and will be out in the public arena for other people, because it's been really kind of quiet, and there's been a lot of death and a lot of suffering and a lot of grief and unemployment and a lot of stuff. But every year we have this thing called Christmas, and it's a reminder of something larger than us. And I want to get a pulse on how are people doing. I mean, I know I've been struggling. Some of this stuff is really kind of crazy to me. But there are things in our natural rhythms that help to regulate us. And we have several drummers in this group. I mean, the people that I see on Zoom, I know there's several drummers in there. There's something about the heartbeat. The Native Americans talk about the heartbeat. I've talked about that in my other videos. So to keep those natural rhythms as we work through this really challenging time. So it's me and my husband's effort, along with my business, Sensory Solutions Inc., to offer this to you all in hopes that there can be some kind of rejuvenation and connection within our own being on who we are, connecting in with spirit. And I'm just going to say this just a little bit. There's a lot of obstruction, and I'm kind of tired of it. And the whole thing about spirit, like bringing in God. So I could go on, and I'm getting like, let's move it along. So hopefully we can all get a sense of being touched with spirit. So what I'd like to do, so participate at your own risk, okay? Kevin, it's starting to get dark out. Let's see if we can go out or do you want to wait? Want to do your program first? Yeah. So there is, I'll show this to you. Sorry guys, this is backwards. Bear with me. I just want to show you guys the program. There we go. So we're going to talk about, we're just doing introductions now, and then there's an Advent prayer. And then Kevin's going to talk about the manger story. And let's see if I can do this for you guys. There it is. So this is our program event. Some of you guys may have already seen this. So Kevin's going to talk about the manger story, and then I want to talk astronomy and astrology about the Christmas star. And then because there has been a lot of loss this year, I'd like to have a more active participation and maybe ask some questions. Sorry, Facebook peeps. And have you all answer some questions and just kind of get a sense of how we all are doing. And offer that up to part of this Christmas celebration. So with that, I was going to just refer to Kevin, and he's got family trying to chime in. So, and then we'll do some songs in between. And this will be the first announcement. I'm actually going to do a solo. When I was a kid and about 5 years old, I sang the first Noel in church. So I'm going to offer that up to you guys. But I want to encourage you guys to, if you have some songs or things that you like to share too, we'll have opportunities through this program to be able to do that. So with that, Kevin, we'll refer that to you. Okay.
Today, as of yesterday, is the fourth Sunday and or the fourth week of Advent, which comes before Christmas. So in the sense of the term adventure, for example, it's before you get to where you're going. So Advent is before he comes, Lent is before he goes. And today's theme is about love. Our hope is in the name of the Lord, who made the heavens and the earth. Lord our God, we praise you for your Son, Jesus the Christ, Emmanuel, God with us. Let your blessings come to us all as we light the candles of this wreath. Be the constant reminder of Jesus, the light of the world, and the light within us to shine for all. Shema Israel, Adonai, Eloheinu, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Lord, make us turn to you. Show us your face, and we shall be saved. Shepherd of Israel, hearken from your throne and shine forth around your power and come to save us. Lord, make us turn to you. Show us your face, and we shall be saved. If you will dwell in us, we will live anew in your love. Oh, dwell within us and save your people. Lord, make us turn to you. Show us your face, and we shall be saved. Amen.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
I say go outside. Now, I don't know if you guys on Zoom can tune into Facebook too. I was trying to figure out how to do this. And actually what I'm going to do is hire somebody to help me next year. That's my answer to that. Because I would like to do more events. Now, I'm going to try to do this so that
Yeah, I've never had good luck using any sort of computer, or I'm sorry, any sort of camera looking at the sky. That's never worked for me.
Not very well for me either. It's got to be super long exposure.
Glad we got the surprise of the Kevin with his piano. I had no idea that was going to happen. So that's cool. So are you two gonna, well, are you three gonna have a quiet Christmas? Like anybody coming over?
I have a small COVID pod, which is my friend Susan and my parents. And so Susan and I, she's from South Africa, so she doesn't have any family here. So I'm going to do Christmas dinner with her on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Day and Christmas Day dinner I'll do with my parents. So it's going to be nice. I'm excited.
Good and personal, nothing bad.
Nothing fancy, small. I'm in LA, so it's really the virus is really surging at the moment. So I'm just not trying to have any extra exposure. So keeping it tight and intimate and quiet, and it'll be good.
I don't pay too much attention to the current events, but I did hear that LA is having a terrible time right now. So
Yeah, we
that's
are.
probably the smartest thing.
It is. Just stay away.
Okay, so.
What are you up to, Kirsten?
It's just gonna be, me and Kopi and Fuega hanging out. I'm gonna make a duck and those guys can have some elk bones and well, we're like really rip it up, So quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are Fuega and Kopi around?
They're outside right now. They're mad because I just got home a little while ago, so I didn't come out and play with them. So they're,
Oh, okay.
they're sulking on the deck.
Oh,
Yeah. They'll come in a little while and Fuega will talk to us.
yes, you got to introduce them to everybody. She has two amazing Malamutes. You guys love them.
So sorry, one of my dearest, closest friends, Claudia. I'll start to cry. Thanks for joining us, Claudia. She's coming. There she is. Now, I want to screen share, and I'm not sure I know how to do that. Sorry, guys. I could do it this way. Just got rid of you guys. I'm sorry. So what I want to do is get my graphics here. There we go. So can you guys see this? Can you guys see this? No. Can you guys on Zoom see this? I can't hear any of you. Huh?
You mean
That screen right there?
What's that? You guys can't see this graphic, can you?
No.
Mm-mm.
How do I screen share?
You've disabled it as far as I know.
How did I disable it?
I don't know, I just can't share.
I would press Alt and then S. I think that'll have you screen share.
I'm on an Apple.
Then it'll be Command. It'll be Shift Command S. That'll be what will screen share, I think.
But then how do I get my desktop? Yeah, I can use this panel. Okay, sorry, this is it's a learning, everybody, and my back is to people on Facebook. Almost there. So what
Kevin, your hair has gotten so long.
Oh, thank you.
I tried to have this planned ahead of time, so. Sorry. Oops. This is what I was afraid of. Little lag time. What I want to talk about is the stars and the astronomy. And for those of you on Facebook, it will look like this. And those of you on Zoom. So what this is a mirror reflection. It's showing what the two stars in the sky have been looking like in these last days, which are actually planets. So the bigger ball is actually Jupiter, and the smaller one is Saturn, which to me kind of looks like it's behind. I'll show you guys again. And so this first date is October 2nd. So since October 2nd, these two planets have been coming together in the night sky. And here in Flagstaff, our skies are so bright that we can see that. But I think it was about 9:15 this morning when the two planets actually came together. And so now they're starting to separate out again. Well, they look like one right now. So for those of you that may not have been following this, I would assume in these next couple of nights, they'll start to separate out again. And it's just like testament to things happen up in the sky, whether we pay attention to it or not. And so in the news, they've been talking about the Christmas star, about these two planets coming together. And could that possibly be, could that possibly be like the Christmas star from back when? And so there's some astronomy about this, but there's also some astrology that I'd like to talk about. And I'm kind of weird because I got my back turned to you all. Actually, this is probably good because you guys on Facebook can see you guys on Zoom. Some of the things that's really interesting about this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, these two planets coming together, is it happens about every 20 years. But what's really interesting about what's happening like literally right now is that this is the first time in 800 years that we humans can see this. So what we just saw tonight, man on Earth it's been 800 years since man on Earth has seen this. So I think that's really significant. And that's a big reason why it's been in the news. But they actually come together every 20 years. And astrologers from the energy of these planets talk about how it does bring social and political change. And so if you look back about every 20 years, these planets have come together. So 20 years ago, what happened, it was 2001, was 9/11. And then 20 years before that, 1980, and 20 years before that, which is why it's so significant for me, is because I was born in 1961 under the influence of this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. People my age, nobody here is with us that was born in 1961, but there's been people that I grew up with. We are under this influence. And here I am trying to start something new, a new educational kind of platform. How much of those energies that I was born under is affecting me? Just some things to think about. And this is one of the things I love about astrology are cycles, that it helps to teach us about cycles and about the natural rhythms. And it can give us a sense about prevailing energies that for me guides me in making my decisions. Like knowing this tonight, I felt like it was a good idea. Let's do something tonight. Let's work with these energies. Let's see. So I think that's about all I really wanted to talk about with that. It's really fascinating. And it's so significant because it's happening on the solstice and it's happening leading right into Christmas. So that's my segue into, I mentioned how I want to sing the first Noel. I've always loved that story. And I pulled up the music for this because I would like to sing this tonight and have you all join in, show you the words. And it talks about the star. And here I am fascinated by the stars. So I want to segue into the manger story. Kevin, that's like you coming up. Because like when I was preparing last night and thinking about this, I could feel that sense of wonder and looking at the stars of what that might have been like 2,000 years ago or so in that prophecy and the three kings looking at that star, the Magi. Matter of fact, I have a quote somewhere. The quest of the Magi. What was that like back then when people were needing spiritual guidance? Like personally, I think we need that. We need that today. We're disconnected from spirit and there's something to that. And so there's some questions that I want to offer to you all that maybe we can share later on about that. So I just want to kind of plant that seed, that quest of the Magi, and what that was like and how that relates to today. And were they any more special than we were, or do we have our own little inner magi that we can call out, so that we can be our own individual quest towards spirit? So on that, I want to cue you, Kevin. How's that? No. So this is where we might segue back into. If you wanted to do it this way. Huh? Yeah. It's all teamwork. So you all on Zoom have the larger version, but what we were trying to do for the Facebook peeps, is zero in on our major scene.
So moving right along, everybody, I don't know if you can see that on the Zoom. It's probably quite a ways away. So there I am right there. So pardon my hand once in a while, people. I'm doing the best I can here. But just to break it down, how generally people have manger scenes, and you'll see them historically. They'll just put like all the characters in, but people don't really understand how it works. So this is a Christian observation. So bear with me here. Generally, manger scenes, have everybody on them, like I said moments ago, but there are storylines within that, as opposed to just everybody being there at the same time, to try to get it in such a way that should you have a manger scene, you can take that with you to, like what happens sort of chronologically, and it's actually quite a bit of fun, So as you can see, we just have an ordinary manger scene. It's just, lambs and, donkeys and sheeps and whatever they got, cows and so on. Oxen and arse, they used to call it back in the day. And so, in other words, there's nothing there yet except animals and stuff. And how that works is that Mary and Joseph came down from Galilee, where Nazareth was, and Nazareth was where Mary was from, okay? Joseph is from Bethlehem,
Sorry.
which is Bethlehem in the city of David, because that's where David is from in your biblical history there. David and Goliath and so on. So the lineage goes all the way back. But Bethlehem, for example, in and of itself means, roughly translated, the house of bread, which is completely logical that our blessed Lord was born there, because the gift he gave to us before he died and resurrected is the bread of life, as they say, paraphrasing, the institution of the Holy Eucharist on Holy Thursday before Good Friday and so on, and Easter, right? So they're coming through to Bethlehem to be enrolled in a census that the Romans had imposed on all the Hebrew people of the day. And you had to go to your town of, your home of record, if you would, and go in there and say, oh, I'm, Ishmael from, wherever it was, Judea, all the different provinces and so on. And they would check you off and go, okay, you're good to go. And so Mary and Joseph went to go register. And since Joseph was actually married to Mary by then, betrothed to Mary, who by way of the Holy Spirit was found to be with child. And so Joseph was going to divorce her, but decided quietly after he had a dream to not to be afraid to take Mary as your spouse. And so the child that Mary bore is not of human origin. And that goes all the way back to March. So for example, we're in December now. Jesus was born on the 25th. So sometime back in March was what is known as the Annunciation. And that's where the angel Gabriel comes to Mary when she still lived in Nazareth. And she was all of maybe 14 or 15 years old, and said to her, and you can check it, it's also known as the Angelus Prayer. You can look that up. the angel of the Lord declared unto Mary, and she conceived by the power of the Holy Spirit, and so on. So 9 months later, with Joseph, goes to Bethlehem, right? So moving right along, now we got Mary and Joseph finally looking for a place in Bethlehem because there was no room in the inn. The innkeeper was like, dude, I got like a barn. You guys can hang out over there. And I knew this was going to be hokey because they're all dried out. Right. And so now Mary and Joseph are there. And lo and behold, by way of miracles and so on, she had born her first child. And that's not to suggest that she had other children. And she remained a virgin. I know that's weird, but nothing is impossible with God. So just work with me here. Jesus is born. There he is. And then you got like shepherds and stuff, and they come in. And so I'm going to paraphrase some readings. In the book of Matthew, which is the year that we're in, it talks about the genealogy of Jesus, and it goes all the way back to Adam and, David and Isaac and Abraham and all those people, because this is a Hebrew observation. It goes way, way back. And it's not to suggest that those were the first people, but the first people who were inspired by God. So this is how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. When Mary, his mother, was betrothed to Joseph of the house of David, but before they lived together, she was found with child through the Holy Spirit. Joseph, her husband, since he was a righteous man, yet unwilling to expose her to shame, decided to divorce her quietly. Such was his intention when, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife. For it is through the Holy Spirit that this child has been conceived in her. She will bear a son, and you will call him Jesus, because he will save people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet Isaiah. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and you shall call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. Like God is a person now. Thank you, Mary. Would you give me a man? Would you make the Holy Spirit into a person? There he is. And then so moving on. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that the whole world should be enrolled. And the first enrollment when Quirinius was governor of Assyria. So all went to be enrolled, each to his own town. Joseph too went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth, where Mary's from, to Judea, to the city of David that is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and the family of David, to be enrolled with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child. While they were there, the time for her to give birth. So she, I lost my place here. The time for her to have her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and she wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. Now, there were shepherds in that region living in the fields and keeping their watch over their flocks by night. The angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone all around them. And they were struck with great fear. But the angel said, do not fear, do not be afraid, for behold, I proclaim to you good news of a great joy that shall be for all the people. For today in the city of David, a Savior is born for you, who is Christ the Lord. By the way, Christ is a Greek term which means the anointed one. And this will be the sign for you. You will find an infant wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. Then suddenly there was a multitude of the heavenly host with the angel, praising God and saying, glory to God in the highest, and peace to people of good will, and to whom his favor rests. And then so as we move along, it could very well have been a few days, it could be weeks, months, years, but generally what happens is the Christmas, because Christmas is not just one day, it's an entire period. And so after 8 days, it used to be known as the circumcision of the Lord, which is now known as the baptism. After that, the Magi actually show up. So we don't really know if it's a few weeks, a few months, was it a few years? And the Magi finally came. That's these guys, the wise men. And they come on what is known as the Epiphany. And they bring him gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And then they had taken Joseph to the side and said, take the child into Egypt. It may not be for long, because Herod, the first Herod, because there was 2 of them, the great King Herod, who was actually one of the most wicked people in history, thought that his crown was going to be toppled. He thought that his reign was going to be threatened by the new king of the Jews, unquote, which has been foretold in Hebrew scripture for like ever. They knew somebody was coming. He refused to yield to a child. And so he put out a decree known as the slaughter of the innocents, where every child under 2 years was murdered. And that is also part of the Christmas period. The wise men came on the Epiphany. They gave him gold and frankincense and myrrh, and the rest is history. And here we are. So thank you very much for your time. I hope that wasn't too boring or too churchy, and we're good to go. In other words, this is the reason we're all here and observing Christmas, or I would like to hope.
And dare I add, my husband asked me to marry him on Epiphany. And here we are. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
So I would like to do some singing, but it feels like I want to do some talking first, and open it up to you guys. Like I had mentioned about this quest for the Magi, and that Magi within our own selves. And I guess I just want to like offer some questions, and if we can have some interaction, if you guys want, this includes you guys on Facebook too, like in the chat box. Let me segue this way. This box here, I've been really struck by, I've been watching some of the Facebook pages and how kids are talking about, I want this and I want that for Christmas. And there's some real truth to that, but it feels really like I want this and I want that. But what can we offer? The 3 wise men came and offered something to God. If we could offer something to God, what would that be? And this is really interesting because what's in this box, literally, how well you guys can see this, it's buffalo fur. It's brown buffalo and it's white buffalo fur, as in the white buffalo calf woman. And this is, I'm gonna get a little choked up here for a moment. This has been sitting on my counter for several months because I am gonna be sending a little bit of this to my friend Claudia, who is here with us tonight. So just know that that's coming to you, Claudia. It's emotional because you guys have been so supportive of me. So, like taking this special box, and if there was something that you could offer to God, what would that be? What would that be? I think for me, you know, laughter is one of those things that's so innate to me. And that's what I want to offer up. What about you guys? Who wants to talk? Anybody want to share? Any of you guys on Facebook in there? If you want to like chat, those of you on Zoom, if you want to unmute and talk, does anybody want to chime in? If you want to, even just on the chat box, what would you guys offer to God of yourself, if you could, in this lifetime? I mean, I'm sure you guys already are. Anybody want to share?
I think that's a great question. I think that 2020 has been a really tough year for everybody. And I think part of offering up things to God includes the good and the bad. So everything we've been struggling with this year, that's something else we could offer up.
That's right. And I was kind of working with that in my last video. So I appreciate that feedback. Spencer?
Oh.
You unmuted, so I figured that was a cue.
Oh, I was just
He's been
unmuted.
off mute.
I've been off mute almost the whole time. Sorry. I don't know. That's a great question. Like Sophie said, it's kind of hard because it's like what could you offer the omnipotent being that we call God that wouldn't be, but I mean, I like your answer, Laura. I like laughter. That one's always a good choice. I don't know. Offer respect, offer that sort of thing.
I could stand for more respect these days.
Eric has his hand up.
He does.
Yeah, I thought I'd do it.
Go, Eric.
That's how we do it at the school.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know that you personally the way I would view it. Like if you say offer something up in terms of maybe like a difficulty that maybe is troubling you.
Uh-huh.
I guess I could see like offering that up to him for him to give you the wisdom to maybe come to peace with it. I think that no matter how you view it, because I know your household comes from all sorts of, there's a mixture of many beliefs and ideas. So I think that the most general way that I could say it is to like just offer yourself in terms of your constant listening, because I mean I think that God is always speaking to us, and whether or not we listen is really the only variable. So I think that what you can give to God would be your attention, just to always be present and listening to what he's asking of you personally, because we all have our own gifts and paths in life. So that would be the only thing that I could offer to him that isn't maybe a self-aggrandizing sort of offering.
Well, wait. So offering listening.
Your attention.
Yeah. Good one. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I love that attention idea. I just took a real intense online workshop. It was 6 days, 16 hours a day. So we worked from like 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. my time. And it was 85 countries, 6,000 people. And we really did some inner work, and we looked at what our major question is. And a lot of us had a negative question at a subconscious level, like, what's wrong with this, or what's wrong with me, or how, why am I not this or that or the other? And so my new question, and I feel like this is a great thing to offer up to the spirit world, to God and all those who guide and guard us. And that is to say something in a very positive way, that assumes that good is happening. And so it frames us in a way to be more loving in our response when people are angry or in dread of the future. So my new question is, how can I appreciate and enjoy even more of God's infinite love, guidance, and abundance now? So that's a good question, instead of what's wrong with me, So, or how come I can't this or that or the other? So to work on oneself and phrase something in a positive is helping God, in my opinion. It's a helpful thing, because then I'm in a more positive, resourceful state, and everybody I meet, I can be more loving, kinder, and have more fun with.
I love it. Thank you. Nina, did you want to say something?
we go. Yeah, it's funny, as I was listening, I feel like what was coming up in my head, like the next person would say, not necessarily everything, but especially the laughter and the listening. What came up for me was time, giving time and attention. And, you know, for me in particular, I've been lazy. I've been telling people this about my meditation the last few months, blah, blah, blah. And so having dedicated time, not that it has to be my whole day, but that I have dedicated time just attending to that connection.
That kind of goes along with what Eric was saying, I think, about listening.
Yeah. And I think it's important to also sort of riffing off everyone else, like to enjoy this gift of this life that we've been given. So I should have a good time. I should enjoy myself and smile and be happy and receive all the goodness that has been given to me. So that's it.
I want to honor a teacher of ours, many of us present in the Zoom, Rosalind L. Briere of the Healing Light Center Church. And she just did a talk the other day. And I remember almost 30 years ago, her saying the same darn thing, and that is drop dread. And the Vanderveer Breaks are here tonight. And we talked about making buttons. And many years ago, we had buttons that said drop dread with Rosalind's community. So it's like kind of bringing that back up again about just drop the dread. Anyway, other comments? Hey, Jeff, thanks for joining us.
I would give up gratefulness and music to God, because I know God wants us to sing and bring that joy to everyone. So,
you know, I had a number of different questions to ask, and I feel like I kind of want to move on into the music. But before we do that, I mean, one of the thoughts I had was, at least in my own life, and I wonder about the rest of you guys, is some of the worst stuff has kind of happened this year, but also some of the best stuff feels like it's happened. You know, it's like, and maybe you guys do want to share, because I feel like there needs to be something about what did we lose this year? And maybe like in just a couple words, if you want to share maybe something that you lost this year, but something that was really profoundly a blessing in your life as well. Do you guys want to share any of that? Or if you want to share other things, you know, continue on the conversation about what you would give to God. I feel like that's important. And then we can go on into singing. Is there anything you guys would like to share in that regard? Like what you lost and what you gained this year? Or other gifts?
I know for my family, not being able to travel has been a loss. We have some family members in England going through some struggling times with their health, and we would have liked to have been able to fly there and help them in person. So that's been a big bummer. But at the same time, Zoom has been such a gain because we see their faces and get to talk to them in person every week and help from afar. So it's, yeah, that's what I would bring up as the biggest things for me.
And just to feed off of that, I mean, Kevin likes to host and he likes to cook and make cookies and have parties. And our place is so small. But this has been an opportunity. It's like, hey, you know, between the two of us, we can host a party like this. So hopefully that's one of those new things that can kind of come from this year. What else? Spencer? Or do you need
I can go.
The other thing is like, I feel like it's been a really spiritual time as well, like with the energy. So Zoom wasn't the big gain of the year. I'm like, wait a minute, but it's been a good thing. But just the quietness I've really enjoyed, even though it's because of a pandemic.
for me?
One of the things I lost this year was, I mean, we had a lot of gigs and stuff lined up, me personally and the breaks, the Vanderveer Breaks. So that was really hard because that was kind of I've talked to you and Kevin about this before, Laura, how being up on stage, regardless if there's people there or not, is kind of an escape. It's a bit of like going to a church kind of experience for me. And having that not be kind of a way to release some energy and work some things out was a big loss. You know, that was a pretty big loss, and it's been interesting dealing with it. But one of the things I've gained was because we're not meeting and doing those live shows, is I've had more time to work on new material and work on being a better musician and being a better singer and that sort of thing, so that when that opportunity arises again, it'll just be a better experience for everybody. At least I hope so.
Thank you. Gary, did you want to add?
A gift to God is thanks for everything, because God made everything, all the good and all the bad, and give up your judgments about the things that you think are bad. Because what Master Chang said of many years ago, Master Shufu, that he knew that Shufu wouldn't have to return to the planet because he so thoroughly loved everything on the planet. And until you love everything on the planet, you don't get to leave. So it's give up your judgments and be grateful for all it is. And my friend Nina knows one of my major fortes is travel. And so I've only been as far as San Jose at this point, which is 60 miles away. And I'd planned to go to India and to probably Australia and Florida for one of my sort of almost like a daughter was had the second lead in the musical that they were going to bring to New York, that they were trying out in Sarasota. And so on and on. But let go of your judgments. Those are the things that trap you. And be thankful for that. Looks like everybody is well sheltered, and there are a lot of people that aren't. So blessings to all of you.
And to you, Gary. Gary, you and I go way back. I remember, 25, 30 years ago almost.
Yeah.
Studied together.
Once upon a time. But that was way back in the last century, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Jeff, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I would add that those words from Gary were right on, right on. I have a lot to be grateful for, all the good and all the bad, but especially back in January, getting to go to Rosalind's class allowed me to step into a new realm of life and meet some new people and make some new friends that has been great. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful to be invited to this tonight. Yeah, I'm actually grateful for all the bad things that I've had to endure too, because that's part of the journey. So I gotta keep working on that no judgment stuff, because it's out there. I just gotta be positive and be grateful and give thanks all the time for everything around. So thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. Anybody else want to add anything? Kevin, would you like to share a song? Would you like to share a song?
I would say
Spencer. I know one of the gifts that you offer is music. Which,
Okay, I'm on headphones, so you guys are gonna have to. I'm not gonna be able to hear anything. So when I take these off, so I can do this. But yeah, so I'll do a little something. So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas. I hope you had fun. Near and the dear ones, the old and the young. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. So this is Christmas, for weak and for strong, for rich and for poor ones. The world is so wrong. And so happy Christmas for black and for white, for yellow and red ones. Let's all stop the fight. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. And so this is Christmas, and what have we done? Another year over, a new one just begun. So this is Christmas. I hope you have fun. Near and the dear ones, the old and the young. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. War is over if you want it. War is over. Happy Christmas, everybody.
thank you, Spencer. I don't bet you guys don't want to cry. That just really helped pull it together.
By the way, it was about a year ago, we had a show and we played that, so kudos.
Did that sound okay?
Oh, heck yeah.
There you go. That's the rest.
Okay. Thank you. I'm glad that went over well.
Thank you, Spencer.
Oh, no problem.
Somebody on Facebook, Anita, I want to read this. She said, although many of us have lost family and friends, but we have also gained more time with family with this pandemic, making time for each other and appreciating that time with each other. Many of the parents, I'm sure, say my children are driving me crazy, but we should be thankful to be able to be with our children. So thank you, Anita. Anybody else want to offer a song? Kevin?
Nobody goes home. Have somebody try to canvas someone else.
Anybody else? Because Kevin wrote a song, but okay, go to you. Huh?
Nobody's chiming in.
He's wanting somebody else to chime in. We're getting it.
I already done chimed my chime.
So some of this is just a little bit of logistics with the technology. He's setting up. I think one of the new things that have been coming out of this year is, along with Spencer, like you were talking about, writing new stuff. Kevin's written a lot of new stuff, and Eric's written new stuff. So you guys, you're not able to perform, but you guys are doing work. I know I've been working. You know, it may be quiet, but
Go crazy if I wasn't doing some sort of musical something or other. That's what I got. That's like one of my biggest, most fulfilling skills. So I wasn't enacting that one. I feel pretty incomplete. So it's got to be kind of a part of the everyday routine.
say that last part again.
It's got to be a part of the everyday routine. It just has to. I have to experience music or think about music in some personal way. So it has to come out somehow.
Yeah. Whoops. So I'm just going to read you the Facebook feed. Oops. Hi, everybody. Kevin, whenever you're ready. Facebook is on.
So you don't do
No, I don't. I'm going to turn you all.
just push the play button.
Bear with our logistics here. You guys are going to be right there too.
That'll work.
Whoops. Hold on.
You all might want to pad your volumes a little bit.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. If you guys have headphones, it would be appreciated if you guys could put headphones on. Well, that's about as good as we're going to get with the visual. How's that?
Just push play and then turn that little clicker on a bit.
Press play.
Yep.
And the blue.
Yep. Christmas future is far away. Christmas past is past. Christmas present is here today, bringing joy that will last. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year, all our troubles will be out of sight. Yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. Next year, all our troubles will be gone away. Once again, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore.
faithful friends who are dear to us will be near to us once more. Someday soon we all will be together if the fate allows. Until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow. So have yourself, let your heart be light. Have yourself, next year it'll be alright. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kevin. Anybody have a song they'd like to add?
Man, that guy and I should be in a band or something.
I agree. I know a really good one, actually.
Oh, good.
Other songs? Or you want to do the first Noel? Anita, this is for you. Here's a little long, huh? Here we go. Maybe Kevin will. No, hold on, everybody. Go ahead.
No, you don't need it on me.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Go ahead,
You
Kevin.
had enough terror for one night. Get the camera off it.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Ready already?
There you go.
From the top. Got all your lyrics?
Oh, I'm singing? Sorry.
you are.
Sorry, everybody. I guess it's cue me the first Noel. Let's just do like one verse, and if you guys could like join in, that would be cool. Go ahead, Kevin. Sorry, everybody. Go. The first no, sorry. I'm embarrassed. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their shade on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Well, that didn't quite go off as well as I wanted it to, but anyway, you know, it's my efforts and it's me offering myself up. So thank you all for your moral encouragement. Other songs? Beverly? I didn't need to put you on the spot. I have asked Kevin if he would do Silent Night in German at some point. So yeah.
Kevin, do it.
Huh? Kevin? Okay, cue you. Will you
Again?
Yes, cue you. So I just want to do a couple of songs. This is like kind of cueing Kevin, because after we do some songs, we have the train and the slot cars that we can go around the tree and, you know, just open it up for any other final discussions. So I want Kevin, he wrote a song. So he just needs to set that up. Go.
You want to hear Silent Night, or you want to hear the song?
Go ahead, whichever. So now we have to wait for the iPad. I thought we could do like 5 verses, but after that one verse of First Noel, I was like, yeah, that's enough. Downtime.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Some of you also may be familiar with this. Silent Night is actually a German song. It was written approximately 200 years ago. And the folklore about that is that it was written by a guy who was going to present it to his parish on that Christmas. And then somehow the organ bellows were either eaten by a rat or something. There's lots of different folklore. There was a flood, whatever it was, but the organ wound up getting ruined. So instead of that, he had an accompaniment person who actually wrote the music for it and did it on an acoustic guitar, rather similar to like Edelweiss or one of those German folklore songs. But that's when it was Germania, and it was actually penned in Austria, which all of that is inherently similar, but it was before there was even a Germany. So the most important thing about Stille Nacht, it's kind of like, it's one of the German national anthems, if you would. They have several of them. The other one would be something like Große Gott. It's very, very, like, everybody knows those songs. They're just, it's hard to explain that. It's like the God Bless America of Germany kind of thing, right? So, but the other highly important period where Stille Nacht, also known as Silent Night, was very, very important was during World War I, which is approximately 100 years after it was written, and about 106 years ago. The first winter in World War I, over in more specifically like Flanders Fields, which is part of France and Belgium, and by which time the English were involved. The Germans at the time, who were run by the Kaiser, those guys were all pretty bad. So it's pre-National Socialism, but the Germans at the time had been dug in as far as almost to the coast. So they needed the help of Canada and England, and America wasn't involved yet, but they needed all these people to push them back. But it was the fateful day, Christmas Eve of 1914, where more specifically in Flanders Fields or close to, they all just threw up their weapons and said, I'm not fighting anymore. And so it's actually true that that happened. And a lot of them risked being assassinated or shot for, you know, not fighting. So they were all like, I'm not fighting anymore. One of the best versions of that is from a film called Oh, What a Lovely War. So you can look that up on the YouTube, and it shows them like putting their hands up and like, don't shoot. And they came across no man's land, and they all started talking, and they played soccer, and they, you know, had stories together, and they sang songs. But the crystallized thing was that Christmas Eve, which is another tradition that was started in Germany and Holland, is the actual Weihnachtsbaum, like Christmas tree. And they had little ones. They would just carry little ones around from the forest with candles on them. I mean, talk about a safety hazard, right? And so the Germans would walk around with those at night, and the French and the English and the Scots were all like, what's going on over there? And then they could hear it, and it kind of went like this. Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht, alles schläft, einsam wacht, nur das traute hochheiliger Paar. Hoch alter Knabe im lockigen Grab. Schlaf in himmlischer Ruhe. Schlaf in himmlischer Ruhe. So by which time the French started singing theirs in French, you know, and then the English and the Scots would sing it, and they would actually respond with blood pipes and start to sing it, and they would like go back and forth. And so by which time the English were singing Silent Night, Holy Night, shepherds quake at the sight, glories stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. And so they would volley back and forth, and then the final verse, which I'll do in German again, and they would go back and forth, and the Germans concluded with this verse: Stille Nacht, heiliger Nacht, Gottes Sohn, o wie laut liebt aus deinem göttlichen Mund, da uns schlagt die rettende Stund. Christ in deine Geburt, Christ in deine Geburt. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Hello. A tab on that. PBS showed last night in the Bay Area, All Is Calm, which was a musical that was written about that truce in 1914. It's one of the most remarkable musical things I've heard. And if you check it out, All Is Calm, the Christmas truce of 1914, the centerpiece of it is the Heilige Nacht, Stille Nacht, and it's done in, or for you musicians, it's done in 3 different keys in 3 different languages, all harmonized together. It's the whole program is a cappella. And the guy that put the musical that was shown in theaters or as live productions, and he researched letters from the different soldiers, that what they'd written in their diaries or what they wrote in their back home. So it's sprinkled with these 2 or 3 line letters, and I think it's one of the most interesting vocal things I've run into in a long time. So, All Is Calm. Google it and you'll come up with various renditions.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Yeah, to think about what it must have been like to read the words of the soldiers at that time.
We used to write a whole lot more back then.
Says the poet.
It's just too easy to type a note in your phone nowadays, you know?
So I'm encouraging Kevin to do his song, but he would like it. Does anybody else have a song or actually, Oh Holy Night has been requested. Do you guys want to sing Oh Holy Night together? Yes. This is kind of the struggle about trying to mix all these different like devices together. I don't know how well the sound will be, but if you have headphones, it's helpful. Or if you have your device plugged into speakers, that's helpful. Kevin, are you going to play the piano for this? Kevin's going to play the piano for Oh Holy Night. Hopefully, Anita, you're still hearing this. You ready? Why don't you guide us, Kevin? Do it.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt his worth. The thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices for yonder grace, a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Will you please do your song now? Thank you all. I know you guys were singing along. It's definitely detached than us singing together as a choir together, but it's still, I don't know, it's really nice. Beverly, your group, I forget the name of it, but out in Pasadena, your choral group last week,
Yeah, Pasadena Pro Musica.
you know, you modeled singing and had different people talk about histories of some of the different songs, like we talked about Silent Night. People sing in their own homes. It's at least it's still singing and it feels really good. Go ahead.
Ready.
Okay, so Kevin wrote a song that he's gonna perform. You're welcome, Anita.
Snow is peacefully falling hard as I shuffle out the parking lot next to the yard. It's as fast as I can see it in the snow glow. As Mary and Joseph are searching for a place in Bethlehem, the house of bread they go, but there's no room in it. Room in it. I've got to make some room in it. Room in it. I can make some room in it. While a major sees all they get, I can make some room in it. Room in it. The family gathering postponed this year. We'll have to do our best to do it over the year. The loved ones we hold dear, we just can't hold them near. While Mary and Joseph finally find the place just right as the heavenly angels light brightens up the whole world sky. Ooh, I know I can make room in it. Room in it. I can make some room in it. For the stranger and the friend alike, I know I'll do what's right and make room in it. The shepherds came from near and far, the magi guided by the star. Suddenly silence, and yet a gentle cry. Then a multitude of angels praising God and singing glory to God in the highest. Peace to people of goodwill.
Thank you, guys. Okay. So Kevin didn't see the clapping, unfortunately. So you are getting claps.
Hey, thank you.
Your song's super good, Kevin.
Thank you, Spencer.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's like a new Christmas song. It's like, yay. So,
A new Christmas song. So down.
you know, some new things coming. You know, this year has been like out with the old and in with the new. You know, so hopefully the
Mariah Carey CD.
What's that? What, Eric?
Like your Mariah Carey CD. Get that out of there. Get Kevin's CD in.
Do you guys have some other songs that you want to sing? Kevin's got the train going. Sophie says awesome song. Thank you, Sophie.
Yay.
I'm biased. Get out of the way. So I lost the Facebook feed. So it's just really us on Zoom right now. So I don't know if you guys want to talk, sing, we could race, we could finish up. But that's really kind of what I wanted to present, that this is a time of letting the old things go, and there's definitely death and things dying away, and bringing in some new things. And some of the old stuff I think is worthy to keep. See, there we go. You know, what are some of the things that are worthy to keep, and what are some of those things that we want to bring into the future? And on a personal note, I'm biased by these three men. I think they're really talented. So thanks for all your prayers, and it's time to play. I know, like, it's just cool to be able to connect this way. So thank you all for coming. Any comments? Thanks, Claudia, for coming. She says, thanks for the awesome party at your house. Love you guys. Well, we love you, Claudia. You know that. And finally, you get to connect with the band of your breaks.
Claudia.
Thanks for a really heartfelt celebration, you guys. This was awesome.
Thanks, Nina. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. Next time we need 3D printers for Kevin cookies. Love you.
Oh, but wait a minute. There is a little competition. Dare I say, because Claudia's nutmeg cookies are like the best. So he's got a little competition, Claudia.
Good. Send some to San Francisco so I can judge some. Some of each.
Right?
Of course, gotta have some of each.
Well, you know, one of the things is the smells, like when he's cooking. And that's just one of those things that does not get conveyed through Zoom. Like, what were you making tonight, Nina? You were cooking, and we couldn't smell what you were cooking.
I was making poached pears. And then I made a nice cup of coffee, and I'm having fancy chocolates with it.
Chocolates?
Poached pears, that's very English, isn't it?
Well. Spitting.
Nina particularly likes ginger chocolate.
Ginger chocolate.
No.
Yeah. That's her favorite, all-time favorite.
Kevin, what do you got running on your slot
I
cars
got
there?
the Spencer Mobile. That's why I showed it to you.
Which one? I didn't see it.
The
Is
flame
it
Willie
the?
with the mag wheels, man.
Oh, heck yeah.
Actually, I was going to bring you guys a little layout and just set it up while you weren't there, but I couldn't arrange it. So it would probably just be in the way.
We don't have much going on currently at the house, so we would have made room for a while, I'm sure.
Well, you know, here's to this new year, everybody.
Amen.
Any thoughts about this new year that you guys want to share?
Yeah, we may be able to come back to life this next year.
God willing. Yeah.
Woohoo! Got it on autopilot.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I don't need to keep you guys here any longer. Thank you. Unless you guys want to stay. You're welcome to stay in our living room, because this is kind of what we do. But thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it.
Many blessings to you.
Thank you, Gary. After all these years, Gary.
Thanks for opening up your house to us. It was beautiful, Laura. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you're so far away, Kristen.
Yeah, like 30 minutes. Yeah.
Maybe one of these days when things open up, like Gary said, and I agree, you know, that maybe these guys, you know, get out to these venues again and they can start playing, and we could see actually be social again.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Thank you very much, and happy holidays to everybody.
Merry Christmas. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Kevin, do you have any final things?
Have fun, stay safe. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Solstice.
Thanks, Claudia, and I know it's later for you, too.
Which Anita was there?
What's that, Gary?
Which Anita was there?
I still did.
Which
What?
Anita?
Anita?
Yeah.
There was an Anita on Facebook and she's in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
I have no more Facebook.
Not Anita Jackson from Canada.
I don't know who that is.
It's Rosalind's cousin. She lives up near the Arctic Circle.
Wow.
Got a
Everybody
nice
keeps
pool, eh?
leaving. People are leaving. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Gary.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. Bye, Jeff.
Take care.
You
Love
too.
you. See you, Gary.
Bye. Blessings.
Blessings.
And thanks, Gary, for adding your input. Appreciate it.
Good.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You're where?
We're in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Where are you?
We're in Flagstaff.
Oh, you're in Flagstaff. Uh-huh. I've heard of that.
Yeah. But you're in San Francisco, aren't you? I mean, obviously.
Right.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was in Los Gatos that we studied with Rosalind together.
Right. Probably. I got ordained in 96.
Where was that, in Los Gatos?
Yeah.
I don't think I was there for that ordination though.
Uh-huh.
What have you been doing? Do you use
I still do combined deep tissue body work with counseling. And I'm not doing the body work at this point. But my friend Diane, her name was Rick Schecker. She went to some of those classes. She started with Rosalind when she had the brick building in LA. And Diane and another one of Rosalind's students, Steve Marco, and I have lunch, a video or a virtual lunch every Monday, and we work on people and on each other. And Diane and Steve have both become quite good channels.
So the power of being able, oh, go on.
Yeah. And Kirsten joined, or we used to meet with her on Thursday. So we did some work with her. And I'm getting ready for my 40th annual Christmas morning brunch at noon.
There's something very special about the community that's associated with Rosalind Briere. And so after all these years, to still be able to connect and to know that people are still caring for one another in a good way and offering up themselves on the behalf of other people is a really lovely thing. So thank you for that. And this is being recorded, and this is I'm gonna have this online. So thank you for sharing and for that inspiration that maybe other people can offer goodness to others. Because as we go forth in these times, with all this hurt and pain, we need to lift one another up. And that's one of the things that I feel like I've been able to benefit from the community with Rosalind L. Briere at the Healing Light Center Church. So thank you, Gary, for sharing and for keeping it going. You're muted, I can't hear you. And it's just you and I now anyway.
Okay, our guides keep telling us to send out peace waves, but to calm the fires that are going.
Right.
So and Nina is, you know Nina? Do you know her?
Mhm.
Nina and I came from Warrior Sage, or Nina came from Warrior Sage. We used to share or support Warrior Sage a lot. We would volunteer. And she came to San Francisco one time, and this was in the middle of the summer. And I kept inviting her to come stay with me, and she was a little leery of that. But we met, and she mentioned that she'd always wanted to go to India. So I told her, well, now meet me in Singapore on September 9th, and I'll give you a tour of India. So she took a month off, and she didn't quite make Singapore. She flew the other way, and I met her in Bangalore. And that was at the beginning of the celebration for Ganesh. So we went to see Sai Baba and spent a month traveling in India. And she asked me to tell her a little about energy. I said, well, on my iPad, I have a bunch of Rosalind's workshops. And so we rode in taxis throughout India with her listening to Rosalind's workshops. Don't tell the HLCC that, because you're not supposed to share them, but that's how Nina got into the group.
One of the things that I've benefited from this year is Krishna Das on Thursdays does a 2-hour chanting. And at the end, he talks about like we're here because of the great beings that came before us.
Right.
And I feel that viscerally. And it's kind of like, because I never had my own children, what are my efforts that I can do to pass something on to those who are still yet to come, so that I've benefited from those who have come before us.
Right.
These efforts are to offer to the future what I have benefited from, and to pass that along. And that's been kind of really my driving force in offering this, at the risk it is to talk about these things that I think have been kind of obstructed in the past. You know, it's hard talking about God or spirits or those kinds of things, but there's so much suffering that we have to go through, that we have to steer through these times. And this is something I've benefited from. So if I benefited from this, and the community that I've been reared in has been benefiting, I imagine there's some other people that will benefit as well, at least. And for me, it's worth the risk.
As you know, the Buddhist curse.
Yes. But would you share it?
May you be born in interesting times. Now, we've all done this together. We've been together before. And it's like Nina and I went to a good astrologer in India. And he said, well, your karma is done. Your job was to bring Nina to India. So, but no, we chose to be here, and it's my pretty much what I've gotten from guidance is that my job is to be a teacher of teachers. And I've gotten to have some pretty high profile people that have been longtime clients of mine. And it's now we're here as troops to bring the new age in. And now how we do that is sharing our knowledge and our teachings. So it's nice to reconnect with you.
And you helped, you've been teaching me a lesson for the last 25 years that I'm still working on.
What is that?
About power. About power.
Do you know what the gene keys?
I've heard them. I don't know what they are.
It's a book, and they give you a thing that pretty much looks like the. Oh, I just disconnected something here. But like the Jewish tree of life, and this guy in England channeled something for each of the 64 hexagrams of the Chinese hexagrams. And it's related to astrology, and they will send you out, if you go to their gene keys, they will send you your personal profile. And my first base things that are connected to the body, the first one is the dichotomy between male and female. The second one is the dichotomy between power and force. The third one is patience and impatience. Now, I always thought of myself as being quite patient, but I am over things I don't care about. If I care about them, why haven't they happened already? No. So I'm on some level, I'm very impatient. That's gotten me to 5 continents.
Let it work with
the last one of the 4 is hunger, and that's the hunger for teachings and knowledge. So, but check out, it's one of the best descriptions of the New Age material.
I appreciate that.
Pardon?
I appreciate that.
And in the, where he does the descriptions of the various 64 hexagrams, he starts off with your shadow. And if you make friends with your shadow, you get the gift. And if you do well with the gift, then you get the spiritual part of it. So it's an interesting collection.
What comes to mind is talking about paradox and how Rosalind Elbriere talks about paradox and the power of paradox and knowing both sides. And my live demo this past week that I did, I actually said a prayer and was praying that we can somehow find that balance between ourselves and our shadow. Then that's
Right.
what brings us the whole. And it relates to that yin yang symbol that I hope as we go forward that instead of being on one side or the other side and people being very dogmatic about that, that people can start to really learn about the power of paradox. And it's through knowing both of those sides that we can get through this and get really kind of to God, that that's what brings us the wholeness. It's not one side, it's both sides. Both sides have the light and the dark. And how do we merge the two to find wholeness?
You can't tell if you only have the light, you get blinded by it.
Right.
My suggestion is you give up the word hope.
Look up the word hope.
As long as you're hoping, you don't get off your ass and do anything. You know, the people that sit with their feet in the gutter and buying lottery tickets hope that the lottery's going to save their ass.
Right. And I
People
know,
go to church and hope that God's going to save them.
well, you have to show up and do the work though.
Yeah.
Sitting on the couch, what does that do? And you know what?
Well, that's why I suggest giving up hope, because it's the highest negative emotion.
Giving up hope.
Giving up hope. When it gets to being hopeless, then you're willing to go out and do something.
Is that paradoxical?
Right?
Well, it's
Yep.
interesting, you know, because I don't know if anybody else will watch this conversation and maybe they'll gain something from this. And I know for myself, I've been in fear and it's been kind of crazy, but I know that there's something I can do. And so I'm getting up and offering something like this so that maybe that can
Right.
help other people. And
Yeah.
so I hope it gives inspiration for other people to do what they can do to help, and that somehow we can find some forward movement. So whether that has to do with hope or not hope, it's just doing something to go forward.
Right.
In a good way, without,
Fear is a wasted emotion.
what is?
Fear.
A lot of people are in a lot of fear today.
Yeah. Well, that's why we need to send out peace waves.
And it's my intent that hopefully this program tonight is going out through the ethers and
Right.
people hear this conversation, hear your words. An elder of the community, of which,
Don't,
go on.
yeah. And don't buy fear, or don't buy other people's fear. Because what the government has been selling a lot for since 9/11 is fear, and it's a way to control people. And that's you have energy flows either in or out. If you go into fear, you're running down the basement and leaving all the doors and windows open and hiding out as you implode. If you send out love, stay on your porch, send out love, the bad guys go down the street and don't bother you. So the more love you can send out, the better off you are. One of my main teachers along the way has been Sai Baba. And Sai Baba said, "What is God?" In the first interview I had with him, there were about 20 people there, and he said, God is love. You need to think love, see love, do love, and be love. Somebody in the back said, "Well, what about the devil?" He shook his finger and he said, "No devil, only bad thoughts."
Reminds me of the Course in Miracles, and I don't know if I can quote it, but it's like, there's nothing but love.
Right. Well, when the clients started off working with me, the first thing I give them is a quote from the Course in Miracles. That's a responsibility for sight.
Would you quote that?
Yeah, I'm responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goals I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked.
So we can ask for love.
Yeah. Well, every thought that you have is a prayer. So if you go to church on Sunday and say all good things, and the rest of the week you go, rah, 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 guess what God hears? God's not confined to a building.
Which is why I try to bring in nature, and that's something natural. that
Yeah.
is God-given that we can connect in. Because some of us who have been exposed to abuse, do we even know what love is? So I hope that as we go into this new time, that we can explore options for love and what is love. And this is something from my heart that my husband and I love, that we've offered out to the world. And maybe as a model that other people will be inspired by that.
Good. Bless your work
And yours too. Thank you so much.
and bless you.
Thank you, Gary. You're part of my process. Bless you
Thank you.
and all you do. Bless everybody. Thank you all. One thing we can do is offer blessings and love to one another, and that will help us through.
Yeah.
Thank you. Merry
So every
Christmas.
judgment you have about anything is an attack.
We were talking about judgment earlier. Thanks, Gary.
Blessings.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and end this program.
Good.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.